Hey, we're recording. Alright, so you hit the button. This is Sunday Morning Coffee 55. Oh, let me see here. Videos. I got one for the Camaro to put up. I think I got enough for another segment on the Monte to put up. If not, it will this week. I got to shoot some on a project that just came in. But I've got very little actual footage this week. Blocking a Camaro is boring business. That's really what it boils down to, and that was most of our week. That being said, I put up Friday before last wrap up. I got a wrap up video if I edit it and put it up. I gotta look and see how much nonsense is on it. For this last Friday. Welcome over here for SMC. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Let me see here. We'll start. I want to start you guys off today with kind of a shop wrap. What's going on? What's happening there? Address one comment I had on. Was it last Sunday's coffee? I don't know. It's early enough. I'm still groggy and I don't remember. I don't remember shit anyhow. I'm a flaky fucker. Remember? If you're anything like me, no, you don't. But there it is. Maybe pass into some current events. I don't know. I don't have any current events that are really stuck in my craw today. Nothing real inspirational or loathsome to share. But the shop, in and of itself, we cruised along on that thing. And the Camaro was an interesting kind of critter because we weren't doing a whole jam out and everything else, but the deck lid had to come off, and then we had to take the hood off. The hood's pretty damaged, and we got the paint all stripped off of it. I had to call him up, be like, hey, we kind of have an extra consideration here, and it's going to be more money. He's like, well, how much and how much time, and the basic questions. Super cool dude. He understood. He said, no problem, just get it taken care of, we're good. Which isn't appropriate protocol, but I didn't want to stop everything mid-swing so I could get a change order signed. It's going to bite me in the ass one of these days, but I don't think this is the guy that it will. Verdict came down, all of our decals actually go on top of the clear coat. That's how the instructions read. But it started off with, well, I want the locks and the handles off. Well, they're hard to get to with the window in. And start looking at them like, well, the belt molding on the outside of the door, that really needs to come off for a good paint job. We'll have peel back right there. That's where the paint will fail. So we wound up pulling the glass, pulling the belt molding, handles and locks, of course. Some of the body parts I wanted to paint off the car, we're going to paint on the car because they're old beat up plastic and 33-year-old plastic, and if we did all the body work, primer and paint, we'd crack the paint trying to put it back together because they're just so pliable. So that kind of stinks. When we get it in the booth for final paint, we got to put it up on stands to get it off the ground, because right now it's like 9 inches off the ground. With the ground effects on there, it'd be like 5 inches off the ground. So we have to get up on stands so we can get a gun up underneath there and paint everything. All that said and done, I'm like, fuck it, I want the doors off. So pull the doors off, so it's just going to be a complete paint, jams and all, because a strip that wide around a door opening is easier for me to deal with than to try to fuck around with the doors on the car. I put them up on a panel stand, filed them out. So it's kind of where we're at on that. We had a pretty big project dropped off Friday. I'm really excited about that for the guy, Trevor's the guy's name. He owns J-Town Auto here in Johnston, where our shop is at. We can put windows out in the cars in his parking lot from our shop with a wrist rocket. He's just like around the corner, so our lot's almost a butt. He brought that over on pallets. I'm going to show you some welds. There's some dangerous welds on here, and I'll show you the dangerous welds and explain to you why they're dangerous and why somebody would die if they put that truck together and tried driving it. 69 GMC. I'm really frustrated. I'm at a level of frustration with that project that's unbelievable right now. And it's not focused or aimed at anybody. We couldn't get to it, and things got pushed back, and finally we got it arranged where we can get in the shop, do what we need to, and move on. Well, our machinist, he's got the car quest down in Norwalk. Hell of a guy, hell of a machinist. And he's got 2 or 3 other machinists that build engines too. This is race season, duh. So even though our block is sitting there cleaned up, ready to go, he doesn't even have the time to get all my parts figured out, box it up, and ship it. So I gotta call him again, see where that's at. It's not like he's blowing us off. I know he's not. He's never blown me off before, but you can only get so busy before some things have to slide. I'm not a priority push. I have customers in the same situation, and it's not begrudging me towards them or them towards me. It's just, that's how that works. So we're very anxious to get the 69 GMC out. The Monte Carlo and the Camaro, I think I got enough footage to put up a segment each on those. But not a lot of footage was shot this week because we were just blocking out a Camaro and doing some basic body work to that and the Monte. So nothing really exciting. Nothing show worthy. How's that? Let me see. So I will have footage and I'll put up. I gotta build a body dolly. And I gotta build some panel stands. I'll do that tomorrow. I think the body dollies I've seen are well worth the money. I'm just not willing to fork out the dough when I can spend a day building shop fixtures and have that and more that I need. If I build out the shop hours, my body dolly would probably cost more. Fuck it, you know. Sometimes you sacrifice hours for dollars, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I saw some design elements I wanted to change. I'm going to set it up so I can put different heads on it, so I can do a pinch weld clamp on them if I want, or that type of thing. And I didn't see any options on pre-made body dollies. I'm going to build it tomorrow like a you just set it on there deal. Nothing too fantastic. So we got 3 big projects in the shop to move around. I believe it was Cornell's Garage commented on one of the videos about the 230 SL. This is going to be, we're going to try to do a frame on resto on it. I just don't know if there's enough left to do a frame on. It's a 1-owner car. I've had it at the shop for too long before getting a real substantial start. But I need to get the Monte moved around so it can get the final blocking and in slick sand, and I can push that in. It's a little tiny guy, so we can do this. I got to start on mechanicals. And he's right. I mean, those things are tricky little beasts. It's a 67, but it's got fuel injection. Only thing I've got going for me on that is it wasn't stored well for the body and the like, but it was stored well enough for your mechanical aspects to not be too scared of it. I think we're going to have to back flush the fuel injection system, so if there's any shit in the lines, we can push it back out the pickup tube. But it's freed up, the points are set. I got to check those again because they've sat there for a while, make sure they're not corroded. It's a 1-owner car, folks. The guy wants to restore it for his daughter. And the thing of it is, at our shop at least, it's worth the restoration because the restoration per net value will end up 50 cents on the dollar. Parts are hard to find. Well, they're not hard to find, they're just expensive when you do find them. But that's just something we're going to have to tackle. So I'm not worried about it. Primitive fuel injections, there's a lot of components and lines and shit, but it's simple. It really is. Mechanical, nuts and bolts mechanical makes sense to me well enough. And then I've got an absolutely fucking brilliant nephew that all he wants to do is build chassis, suspensions, and engines. And I'm trying to get him to go back to school for it. So he does have the credentials, but I can tell you right now he doesn't need them. If he wants to know something, he researches it and figures it the fuck out. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we got going on. Over the course of April, we should be pushing out, well, first week of April, we're definitely going to see the Camaro go. And we'll be working on pushing out the Monte Carlo, and sometime in May, the pickup will leave. I'd like to see the GMC pickup somewhere in that timeline. That's going to depend on extra shop hands. I think I need to hit the high schools or the trade schools, see if I can pick up an intern. Because I'm thinking our local trade school may have some kids that are interested in old shit that they won't learn about in the classroom. But I don't need an expensive set of hands eating up time. I just need someone that can help us keep the flow moving. Do some of the grunt work that needs to be done without a lot of oversight. I'm not afraid of grunt work. I'll crawl underneath the car with a cup wheel to clean up the undercarriage. I don't give a damn. But that takes time. We're running out of that on some of this shit. Oh, let me see. Yeah, it's interesting though. Interesting parody of my life. I've never understood it, but I guess I just need to come to grips with it. You know, everybody's life has two facets, really: your personal and your professional. I can have high success in my professional life, and my personal life falls to shit, or vice versa. I don't know. No matter how much I try to do the balance, it never seems to be enough. I have to have, 180% to give rather than 100, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a lazy, selfish fucker. That's altogether possible too. I don't know. I'll focus on those and that's important to me, and if it's enough, then it's enough. I don't know. I don't have anything to complain about. I hide in my little dungeon and I work on life-size Hot Wheels all day. What 8-year-old child wouldn't love this? We finally seem to be on the radar. What really upsets me now is we're on the radar with the classic and hot rod guys, because you can choke up and giggle and that's cool, but my final aim is a hot rod shop. I don't have to build six-figure monsters like our great late Boyd Coddington. I don't need that, but I just want to build hot rods. I want to build down-to-earth, old-school hot rods. So just keep an eye out. Watch the shop. Watch what we're doing. Watch what's going on. It should be an interesting ride. Oh shit! Spring's finally here in Iowa. It's gonna be like 70 degrees today, which means this next week I can start cleaning up my acre of land I have at home. That's a daunting task all by itself, but I'll do it. We went the last 6 months bare bones, almost no supplies in the shop. And yesterday we finally had the means to, and went out, and Friday we finally had the means to and had to go out and just dump a shit boat of money to get resupplied. And your consumables is a big consideration. That's something you guys got to think about. If you want to do this and you want to be professional and you want to do it right, listen to guys like Darren and Pete, and don't short-change your materials, alright? Ever. Especially the substrates. Oh, well, nobody sees the primer. I'm just going to paint it. Well, okay, but you use a cheap primer and you got your ass hanging out. Don't shortchange yourself on the necessities. You know, my first restoration was at 65 Mustang, and a hell of a guy. And I will never say a bad thing about Don because he's fucking amazing and awesome. And he brought us a single stage paint, very inexpensive single stage paint. So you know where this is going. But we put down a good substrate. I put down BASF RM epoxy sealer. We did everything right up to the paint stage. And then that single stage, especially if you don't keep it clean and buff it and basically treat the paint well, you'll have failure in a matter of, a few years. I've seen it. It looks a little rough. It looks a little peaked. It can be repaired. The paint on it can be repaired, and I've got enough material left from that job on the shelf for him. We can repair it and make it look like new again. But the common theme to this is all my substrates are still there. I was looking at some places where there was paint failure from the cheaper single stages, and my epoxy's still there. So we did something right. And we went right in wet to wet. So we not only had a mechanical tooth, we had a chemical tooth. So that shit shouldn't have peeled up. It's just a paint failure. That's all it is. That's something people don't understand. I had a buddy come and ask basically for a buddy deal. And don't get me wrong. This other guy here that I'm talking about is taking real damn good care of us. It's never been an issue with him. It's always been fun to deal with him. He lets us kind of run wild with his projects. That Purple Ranger we did, I dumped a ton of metal flake in it. We blacked out the grill and the lights, and we made it really sharp looking for minimal effort. He let us do that. Better still, he gave us the time, the budget to do that. And he was looking at another car, a classic. He asked me about a paint job and so forth. I'm like, well, yeah. And those, a good full overall paint, at my little shop, at my little overhead, is you're opening the door at $3,500 for a good overall paint. And he's like, well, this other guy said he could do it for $22. I'm like, you got to be careful what the fuck you're getting into, because if they cheap out on materials, my sealer is 5 quarts is $300, and you'll burn up that 5 quarts on a big car quick, because you need 2 full wet coats when you seal everything down. I don't use just because you've got your epoxy sealers and you got like a masking sealer. Basically, it turns your whole substrate one color, so you can paint over it and not use as much paint, and you don't have mapping and shit like that. Well, I don't use the former. I use epoxy when I seal everything. I don't want a chance of my work coming back to me. And I had to explain to him at my cost, after sandpapers, file papers, wet sandpapers, finishing products, the buffing pads and compounds, paint, good sealers, slick sand, all your fillers, you start the conversation at about $1,200 just in consumables on a project like this. And that's hard for people to bite off. And that's usually before you get into the actual paint cost itself. You can spend $1,200 on a gallon of paint quick. Especially if it's RM and it is a factory code and it's red. My cost on RM right now is $100 a pint for reds. Most reds. That's a big fucking deal. So what? It's the cost of doing business. You guys have a great day. I'm going to sign off. I said it before. My week beats your year. Why? Because I do something I'm passionate about every day. So don't let it happen that way. Don't let it go that route. Make your week beat my year, man. And go out there and do something every day you're passionate about, even if it's only a half hour. It keeps the soul alive. It keeps the kid alive inside of you. It keeps, I don't know, aside from having and raising good, sturdy, honorable children, that's the second most important meaning to life to me. Take care.